let's think aloud and Radio Chutney. You're tuned in with me, RJ Himani, and I have this gorgeous screen in front of me today because we have Soha Ali Khan, Lara Dutta, and Anya Singh, who feature in the series Kaun Banegi Shikharwati that released on ZEE5 on January 7th. Hello, beautiful ladies, and a Happy New Year to all of you.
Hello.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Now, we've seen the trailer of the series. A lot of people who I know have seen the series as well. They've absolutely loved it. It focuses on a royal family. It's always interesting to, see nuances of royal families unfold on screen. Now, we've kind of had a glimpse in the trailer for those of us who haven't seen the series of what the characters are like. My very first question to the three of you, what is the one most interesting thing about your character that you liked and one of the most annoying trait of your character? Let's start with Lara.
One of the most amazing things about Devyani is the fact that despite all her perfections, she is pretty vulnerable and is actually hoping that somebody will notice that she's crying out for help. I think so. Her vulnerability is, I think, one of the nicest things about Devyani. One of the most annoying things about Devyani is the fact that I think she's always constantly wanting to project the fact that her life is absolutely perfect, as is she.
Right. Nice. So, what about you?
I think Gayatri is really sweet and self-sacrificing, and that is both nice and also very annoying. So I think the characters that make her very sweet, it just takes them to a whole new level and just falls over the cliff and becomes really annoying.
Okay, all right. Anya?
I think Uma's allergies are a boon and a bane for her because she's at a physical disadvantage because of her allergies, but yet they kind of shape her because she becomes a gamer because of them. So yeah.
Right. Now, especially for Lara and Soha, we've always seen you do films. This is a series, but of course with OTT platforms, this is a whole new game out there. And, ZEE5 keeps churning out these amazing films and series one after another every month. How has the ball game been different for you in terms of a process from films to a series? Soha?
Well, actually, for me, it's all new because I'm coming back to work after many, many years. So really, for me, it was relearning a lot of things, unlearning a lot of things. And I'm so happy now to see that in the last 6 years, certainly, so much has changed in terms of characters, in terms of content, in terms of the way people work, so much professionalism, so much realism and authenticity. People are looking for motivation, questions that people never really asked before. Why is my character doing this? And especially with the OTT space coming in, I was very lucky because at a time when I wanted to get back to work, there was actually work out there. Whereas perhaps a generation ago, there would not have been work for somebody like me in their early 40s who'd just taken this hiatus of 6 years. Again, with OTT platforms, very exciting because you get so much time to explore your character, to justify your character and to take your character on, a longer journey. And therefore people really, I think, binge watch because they connect and they immerse themselves in these lives and then they want to be in those lives till it reaches, the end. And sometimes people want season 2 to start immediately. So that's why I think it's a really wonderful world. And I think that it's a good space to be in cinema now, especially for me because I see myself being represented on screen in a way that perhaps I wasn't earlier.
Absolutely. And thanks for bringing it up, Soha. In fact, I was going to mention this, that it's so good to see you back, after such a long time, and more power to you because I think working moms coming back to work in such a big way is a huge thing. And, I really hope that you keep doing more work. Lara, we've seen you around. What about you? How is it doing a series after film?
So for me, I did my first web series in 2019 when I did 100 and played ACP Soumya Shukla. And yes, it was a completely different experience than, what you do in a film. But I think to be very honest, I actually, like Soha said, prefer this a hell of a lot more today because I feel that women characters now that are being written for OTT are far more layered, are far more, better constructed than the kind of characters that we were getting an opportunity to play on film. And I think it gives you as an actor the time to build out and flesh out a character longer because you're obviously holding an audience's attention for far longer than 2 hours. You're doing it for 8 to 10 hours of content. That said and done, I think the difference, in a very nice way, with a series like Kaun Banegi Shikharwati was the fact that though it was made for OTT, if you've seen the trailer and when you watch the show, the mounting of the series is actually quite larger than life. Whether it's the location, which was the Palace of Mandava that we shot in, or the color, the vibrancy, the costumes, the sets, the ensemble cast, the size of the cast, and the names that are part of it. It's actually pretty much mounted like I would say a film would, and which is why a lot of people are quite confused when they're talking to us. They refer to it as, tell us about the film, tell us about it, because it has that kind of look and feel to it, which I think is great that, OTT is also sort of creating content that's now on larger scale, larger than life. And I think the difference between the big screen, so-called, and the second screen is slowly kind of merging and getting pretty diffused, And I think that's amazing because it gives the audience reason to raise their expectations, When you want to see content, and at the end of the day, content is king. So you want to be able to see, and you can see that it is possible to kind of create that look and feel as well, even for series that are created for OTT platforms.
Beautiful. Now, before we jump into a little small segment that I have, Kaun Banegi Shikharwati, I'm going to ask this question starting with Anya, and then of course I'm going to come to the two of you as well. This show, of course, we have Naseeruddin Shah as well, and when you have Naseer sahab in a show, it just takes it 10 notches higher. What is it that you had to unlearn, Anya, while working with Naseer Saab, or while probably just sharing screen space with him? What did you have to unlearn that, oh my God, like I was doing this probably wrong?
That it's okay for me to learn. I think that's what I have to learn. I don't need to know going into a scene how I probably want to do it. Of course, I am the most inexperienced one, but you always kind of want to give 100% as an actor and as a professional, but it's okay to not know as well and to learn from your co-actors. I think that was my biggest learning and takeaway, especially while working with Naseer sir.
Right. Did you have a blast working with this beautiful ensemble cast that there is, like such an envious cast?
Did I have a blast? I had more than a blast. The fact that all of us are willingly ready to go back for season 2 is proof enough of what a great time we all had over there.
Absolutely. So, what about you? Is there anything that you had to unlearn working with Naseer Saab?
I think for me, often when you have a script, like now you get a bound script months in advance. And sometimes you're lying in bed and you're going over the scene and you're thinking about how to play it. Then you go on set and you meet your co-actors and they bring something else to the table. I think you have to really be fluid. And you have to remember that it's not just about how you are playing it. You have to keep listening. Sometimes you're so focused on saying your lines, you're not listening to what the other person is saying, whether he's changed the line, certainly like Naseer Saab, taken a pause differently, reacted in a way, and you should accordingly respond. I think often, at least I'm guilty of doing that. I'm so fixed in what I want to do and how I want to play it. But working with him and seeing his spontaneity, you often forgot what you thought you would do. And you responded to what he was doing. And I think that's the true magic of acting, is when you really respond to your co-actor, and that's when the scene becomes genuine.
Fantastic. Beautiful. Yeah. What about you, Lara?
I think maybe because I've been in the business for a really long time, and I haven't had the opportunity of working with either Naseer Saab or Raghuveer Yadav. But I obviously know of them and I know of their work. So as an actor, you kind of go in there with a preconceived notion as to how somebody might be and the way that you might respond to them. And I think I had to just unlearn all of that, that yes, they are veterans and they're very, very senior actors, but maybe our perception of them is just based on the way that we've seen them in certain films that they've done and the roles that they've performed. And they're quite different from the characters that they play as the people that they are. So I think that for me was something to completely unlearn and let down, just let go of. What did I learn? Things that are invaluable.
Yeah, absolutely. Lovely. Now we have this segment, Kaun Banegi Shikharwati. Know your Shikharwati, actually. So, of course, this show is about the royal family. How can we not have some questions when we have a royal amongst us? What say, Lara?
Of course.
So, now, Soha, we're going to begin this with you. 4 very simple questions, simple answers, okay? You're from a royal family. You're the only one, in fact. So, we want to put you in the spotlight first. What's the one myth about royal families that you absolutely want to break or bust? That guys, wake up. We don't do this.
That they have lots of money, which they really don't. And I'm just saying they don't.
But they did.
They might have, but not anymore.
Okay, nice, good one. Lara, what is so totally true about royal families that you would have probably heard and you realize that, yeah, it's true? I mean, what are they talking about? Royal families are like that.
That they're all slightly eccentric. That they all are slightly eccentric, and they all, when they step back into the worlds that, the principalities in the kingdom, that they all actually let go and are happy to be their eccentric selves, because that's what's expected.
Nice. And that's what will be forgiven also. Like, nobody will question it.
Exactly.
All right. Anya, for you, what's the one royal attitude or tehzeeb that you're totally in awe of? You're like, oh my God, Aise, look at this.
Just the way they carry themselves, no matter what they wear, their body language tells you a lot about themselves. And there's a lot of grace. And I grew up in Rajasthan because I went to a boarding. Surrounded by my friends whose parents were just from royal families. So I just look at them and they're just very graceful women and men. Even the men take a lot of pride in how they dress on a daily basis. Even if they're just sitting to have a cup of coffee, they're all very prim and proper and very well dressed. So the grace.
Nice. I know. Looking at Soha, we can totally vouch for this. Like, she's always so graceful and so.
Yeah. Remember, she said Rajasthan. She didn't say because of her friendship with me.
No, but I keep following you on Instagram, and I'm always she's always so proper. Like, even she's.
And that's how I am every single minute of every single day.
Exactly. So now this is the last question for the three of you. One, why should people watch this show if they haven't still? And two, if royalty still existed, what's the one thing that you would change about it?
What do you mean if royalty still existed?
I mean, if royalty still existed in the way royalty existed once upon a time.
Nothing exists the way that it always existed. Nothing.
Okay, what is it? The one thing about royals? Okay, everything evolved. But what's the one thing about royals that you would be like, come on, guys, I know better.
I would just like them to spread their jewelry around a little bit more,
I know. I was thinking of that.
Sprinkle it.
Yeah, just sprinkle it around a little bit more.
There'll be an app called Rent Your Jewelry.
I know. Oh my God. Yes, Soha. Yes.
There might be an app. Isn't there an app called Rental Royal? I think I'm pretty sure that there is. What does that mean though? Yeah, you can take them to family dinners and to specific event dates and whatever it's called. It's Rental Royal. I'm pretty sure that there's one.
Really? I'm going to Google it right away. Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay. But why should people watch this show? One line. Anya?
It's definitely a very refreshing concept. It's quirky, it's fun. Their sisters who hate each other might end up loving each other. They're really weird rounds. So you're just going to be like, what is going on? But at the same time, I'm sure you will be smiling at what is going on. So that's why.
Nice. Soha?
I think the question is, why haven't you seen it already if you haven't?
Yeah.
Please do. If you have, of course, thank you. And if you haven't, please do. And, I think that it's a very talented cast, a really unusual, setting of a royal crumbling family and palace, and something that is truly funny, but in a different way, a really refreshing comedy and a dramedy, like Lara said before. There's also drama, there are also emotions, but at the end of the day, you'll find yourself laughing through the episodes.
Fantastic. Lara?
Well, all I want to say is, the public reviews really speak for themselves. For the people who watched it, we are over the moon with the reactions that we're getting. People have found it a stress buster. They found it funny, easy to watch with their families. It's been a great weekend watch for people who binge watched it over the weekend. So yeah, that's it. We're just hoping that we're going to be able to bring some humor, some entertainment, some laughs into a pretty stressful environment already that's being felt around the world. So it's a light-hearted comedy. Watch it whenever you have the time. And yes, send us your feedback when you do.
Thank you so much. All the very best to the three of you. I'm definitely going to watch the show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you, ladies. Thank you. All the best.
Bye.
Bye.
Take
Bye.
care.
Thank you, Himani.